Welcome back to The Working Lunch. We're in the middle of our hour-long business show here on The Crown. We love to bring you interviews with different folks working in the community, different business leaders, and I'm happy to be joined by Graham Wyler, who is a sales coach at Wyler Automotive Family. You work out of the Florence location mainly, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Glad to have you here on the show. Wyler, is that just a coincidence, working at a Wyler Automotive dealership?
It is a coincidence. I like to say I've been in the family business for my whole life. Even though that's not true, I've kind of come and go. I've just moved back to Cincinnati in the past year. I've been working with the family business for that past year and have sat around in a couple different positions, but the last 7 months I've been playing sales coach, as I like to call it, at our Honda store.
Yeah, so sales coach, that's a change that you guys recently made. First off, looking up some numbers about the Wyler Automotive Group, it's roughly 24 locations, I think 2,500 employees. Wyler started off in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Your grandpa Jeff in Batavia opened his first dealership, and it grown from there outside of the Cincinnati area. That is a heck of a sort of a family business to come up with. How does that feel for you?
It's inspiring, to say the least, to see what my grandfather, my father, my uncle, the generations before me have built. I mean, starting out in Batavia, as you mentioned, they had a little one-car showroom. It took them 5 days to sell their first car. To now we're selling 5,000 cars a month with 26 locations.
Wow.
It's grown impressively, and then, like I said, I'm inspired to kind of follow them in their path.
Yeah, so you're working in the company, sort of moving through different departments, right? Sort of learning various elements of the family business.
Yeah, that's correct. So when I came back and started working for the family business, I thought it was super important to learn as much as I can, not kind of pick one particular part of the business. I wanted to become a jack of all trades. I wanted to one day become a leader, and for me to be a leader, I wanted to understand what everyone else was going through. Yeah,
well, listen, if there's one thing we love on this show, we love jacks of all trades. That's a terrible joke. What is that like for you in transitioning from, being a kid and growing up and knowing dad's going off to work and he's working with grandpa, and, when you're a kid, did you have an interest in cars when you were younger, or was that like, that's grown up stuff, that's work, I just want to play?
Oh, I've always been fascinated by cars.
Yeah.
Ever since I could remember. I think, if you go and ask, little kids get asked all the time what they want to be when they're older. My answer is I want to be a car salesman, like my dad and my grandfather, yeah. And then all my hobbies and side interests all have to do with cars as well. I grew up karting, always had a passion for race car driving. I spent a lot of time on the e-racing simulators, so I can't get away from the automotive world.
Wow, yeah, so you're just in it. That's just your thing, huh?
100%, yeah. So it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's very fulfilling now that I'm able to do it.
Well, so having that sort of youthful interest from the get-go, and now you're living in it. You're not just sort of playing video games with it.
Exactly,
it's a real thing. In the sales coaching thing, I wanted to ask you, because you told me the company made a little bit of a move a few years ago, going from sales managers and making a change in that to this sales coach thing. Could you describe a little bit of that to me?
Yeah, sure. So we use our titles a little bit different, the Jeff Wyler Automotive Family. About 8 years ago, we had a retreat with all of our general managers, and we brought them in and we said, you guys are fired. But we brought them in.
Welcome to the retreat, everybody. Thanks for coming by.
We're not
and you're done.
Exactly. We're not actually getting rid of you guys. We're going to rehire all of you as coaches. And what that did is really change the culture in our business. It takes the management pyramid, if you will, and flips it upside down to where the employees aren't working for the manager. The managers are working for the employees. And that's been extremely successful for us, because now we're getting the people that generate revenue the tools they need to be successful.
Yeah, how important is that? Clearly making a sort of a dramatic thing like that with folks and trying to really alter what the mindset is, and then you see that trickle down to everybody else, down to the customers.
Exactly. And it was easy for us to do because, as I mentioned, I'm very into racing. Sports have been a big part of my life. They've been a big part of my family's life, my dad's life. We all grew up playing every sport underneath the sun. So coming up with a way to translate that camaraderie and teamwork you find in a football locker room and put it into a place of work, it was really the goal.
Do you guys have like showering facilities there at the dealership?
Not at our dealerships. At our corporate headquarters, we do have
Nice.
a gym and showers with a trainer that you can go schedule a quick workout at your lunch break or after work.
What has your evolution been in terms of working in the sales coaching department? You obviously have to give a lot of pep talks to people. What other sort of departments are you learning about that maybe you didn't know before?
So when I first came back to work for the family business, I was on the fixed side of the business, the service side of the business. And I did that intentionally because that was something I really had no clue about in the past. So, you know, in high school, coming back in the summers for college, I'd come home and I'd sell cars. So the sales side I was quite familiar with. Working on cars in the service part of the business, I was not. So coming back, I really wanted to focus on the fixed side of the business, if we want to call it that.
And on the service side of a dealership, really, I think a lot of people, everybody puts a lot of the emphasis on the sales, but service is a huge part of a business if you're selling cars.
Yeah, it is probably the most important part of the business. Average American buys a car once every 3 to 5 years, so that means your customer is only coming in to buy a car once every 5 years. That's very limited touch points.
Right.
With servicing your vehicle, they might be coming in 3, 4, 5 times a year. So it's super important that you have great customer service. You take care of their customer while they're servicing their vehicle. So when that time comes to buy a car in 5 years, they know where to go.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, people can come in to get service done if they weren't necessarily a customer who bought from the dealership, right? Yeah, so and that's another opportunity to try to get somebody into the showroom later on.
100% is we show our best side in our service department. We want to show you how good we're going to take care of you and your vehicle. So when it's time to make your next decision on your next purchase, you'll come straight to the Jeff Wyler Automotive Family.
Now, how does that work when, you know, one of the other big expansions that Wyler's had in more recent years is selling cars online, leaning into the convenience of buying. I mean, we buy everything else online. I remember the press release that when Wyler came out with it at the time, we're selling cars online. And what does that mean for if you are worried about the customer service element of things, being able to really let somebody know that they're reassured in what they're getting and in the service side? When you're buying on a website, you don't have that personal interaction as much.
That's true. 9 out of 10 customers nowadays do some sort of research online before going in and buying a car. And it's just about having a good presence online. On our website, we have everything that we do for the community of Cincinnati. So it shows us giving back to the community. Little things like that, just to try to make a personal connection to the customer, even though we're not sitting face to face with each other.
Sure. And well, even, you know, I would imagine that even if the process itself is easy, then that's also going to leave a good taste in somebody's mouth.
100%, yeah. We have it set up so you can buy a car virtually, completely online. You might have to do a couple of Skypes or FaceTime calls with a finance manager to do some paperwork, but we have it set up so you can completely buy a car from home.
You know, you mentioned finance managers and selling cars. I was reading up on some history for your grandfather, and he got his degree, I believe, in finance from the University of Cincinnati. Understanding all that and, you know, some history of the company, when he started off in Batavia, like you said, that one car showroom that they had, taking that and trying to, in terms of advertising, GM wouldn't allow for newspaper ads for if you were outside the Cincinnati metro area. He was further out of the city. So he was kind of an innovator in terms of doing ads on TV and radio and having the phrase, with the cars cheaper in the country. Did you hear that story a ton growing up?
Oh, more times than I can remember. And I still hear it today. It's quite fascinating how many people still remember that slogan, cars like eggs are cheaper out in the country. When I walked in here, I was talking to somebody and they say, the Wyler family, cars like eggs cheaper in the country. And it's pretty special to hear that, 52 years later, after that slogan has been retired, people are still remembering it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then the story that I think I was reading too was that was a phrase that your grandpa knew a guy who used it in like the Columbus area. And in terms of the dealership, the family dealership expansion, I think that dealership is now part of the automotive family now, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so it's funny how things have kind of come full circle, and it's something he got from a guy who got it from a guy who got it from another guy. So it's kind of funny how things work like that in the car business.
I think the very first station that I worked at, the radio station up in Northeast Ohio, I think there was a dealership that was also using that phrase. It's a little bit everywhere. The Central Ohio, where that dealership was, that's now part, is that the one that's part of the Wyler collection?
Yes. So that's a new acquisition that we've made at the start of this year. The Wyler Collection, formerly the Midwest Auto Group. New venture is something that me and my family are super excited about.
What is that like? Does that mean you guys have like bigger Thanksgivings now because of the way that the company expanded in the 90s and here in the 2000s? Not just family dealerships, but now expanding outside of the Cincinnati area. It's got to be a huge staff that you're in touch with.
Yeah, it's a huge staff. We've grown to almost 2,500 employees now, which is kind of crazy to think about. From, I think, I was reading an article a couple days ago, back in 2006, 2007, where we only had 1,000 employees. So fast forward 20 years, 1,500 more employees is just, it's cool to see that growth.
Well, I mean, obviously, whatever emphasis you guys are putting on sales and customer service is clearly resonating because the business is going and the business is growing.
100%. And going back to our conversation about firing our coaches, culture is something that's super important in our business. And I think our culture is something that we can credit to the success that we've had. Somewhere along the way, my grandfather found out that if you can find a way to make your employees happy and you can take care of them, they, coincidentally enough, will take care of the customers.
Yeah, sure. I mean, people are in a good mood, and that's got to make it a lot easier to buy a car when you're, walking the lot and you're seeing somebody come on. You probably see a lot of folks that are nervous, unsure about how things are going to go, and you really want to set them at ease.
Yeah, 100%. Or, even if you're just having a flat-out bad day, interacting with someone who's having a bad day is never a pleasant experience. So we try to do everything we can to make sure that the people that are on our team have the best tools and have the best energy possible.
Have you seen, I'm sure you have, when you were probably growing up, if not more recently, been in the museum? What is this? What is the Wyler Museum that I've heard about?
Yeah, so our Wyler Museum is located at our corporate headquarters. It's a pretty cool spot. I'll have to take you out there someday. We've actually had, kind of going back to the sports theme, we've had the same company that does all the locker rooms for NFL teams and college football teams. They've come in and they've done our whole corporate headquarters. So walking through our corporate headquarters is kind of like walking into a college athletic facility.
Wow, okay.
Same thing with the museum. It's actually, we've kind of made it a bit smaller, but cars have always been a passion of our family.
Yeah, I want to know about some of those cars that are in this museum, because you're a big gearhead, so you're probably going to know a lot about it. We do have to take a break, though. We will be right back with more Graham Wyler of the Wyler Automotive Family. You're watching The Working Lunch on The Crown. Stick around. Welcome back to The Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. We continue to speak with Graham Wyler of the Wyler Automotive Family. Just before we went to break, we were talking about the museum. That is, this is a private museum, but you can you ask to get tours of this place?
Oh yeah, 100%. I give people tours all the time, as much as I can.
This is your grandpa's big collection, right? He's been a car guy for decades, so he's got a ton of cars. What sort of rides are in this thing?
Mostly vintage vehicles. It's my grandpa, my dad, and my uncle. They kind of all collect them together. My grandpa likes the cars from the 40s and 50s when he was younger, and then same thing with my dad and my uncle. They also like to collect cars from the 70s and 80s when they were growing up. Kind of collecting cars that you had on your poster growing up.
Yeah.
So
What's your favorite car that's in the museum?
Ooh, that's a tough question. There's a Mercedes 300 SL. That's a beautiful car.
That sounds impressive.
Yes,
I'm not a huge gearhead, but I mean, you said Mercedes SL, so like, okay, yeah, that sounds.
It's in the iconic red color. It's really a beautiful car. But I think my favorite one is actually our 2007 Toyota Tundra that competed in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Our team had a NASCAR truck team, or our family had a NASCAR truck team from 2005 to 2008, and the car that we have in our showroom is the first ever Toyota to ever win at Daytona.
Wow.
So it's pretty special.
Yeah, okay, I can see why you'd want to hold on to that. You know, you mentioned Toyota, and we've talked about other car brands. I think GM was a big thing with your grandpa when things were first starting out. Can you explain what is it about car dealerships? Now, it used to be car dealerships would have like one brand of car, and now that's not a thing anymore, right? Your grandpa kind of pioneered the auto mall bit.
Yeah, 100%. It's instead of, driving 30 minutes to an hour out of your way just to go to one store with one brand and then having to pivot and go look at another store, and by the end of the day you've traveled halfway around town and you haven't been able to make a decision. With the auto mall concept, Eastgate out in Batavia, for example, we have 6 new car stores and 1 used car store. So you can go compare 6 brands right next to each other all at one stop.
Sounds great. That's convenient, and
Yeah,
that's what people are doing online anyway.
Exactly. And I actually sold my first car out of there. I was working for Chevrolet, and the first car that I sold was Kia. Was a Kia Sorento.
Okay.
So we give our salespeople that work at these automobile locations to sell between the brands, even though their home might be at a Chevrolet store like it was for me. But if the customer kind of sees that Kia out of the corner of their eye, they're allowed to sell them any car on the lot.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Indian Hill on the east side of Cincinnati.
So being a car person was always a thing. You never had like childhood dreams of like being an astronaut or a lawyer or anything?
The childhood dream outside of being in the car business was being a race car driver.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
kind of a parallel, not an astronaut or anything along the lines of that. I still have some hopes of maybe one day pursuing that dream.
Well, you were telling me,
know.
what is the bit that you guys do? Because, charity is an important thing, and I've seen a lot of the different charitable things. There's the Wyler Foundation, obviously, that does a lot. And then you were telling me about, what's the thing where the kids that are at Ronald McDonald House get to be in fast cars?
Yep, that's our Wyler Fast Lane event. It's going to be, we're putting it on for our 6th year now. It's going to be happening in September. We call it Supercar Therapy. We partner with the Ronald McDonald House, and we take 12 kids, get them out of the hospital, get them out of the Ronald McDonald House for a day, let them forget everything that's been going on in their lives and just have a day about them having fun, riding around in fast cars.
That's a nice partnership. The Ronald McDonald House was, we had a guest, Jennifer Loeb was on to talk about the work that they do, and the fact that you guys are partnered with them on that. That's got to be a thrill for those kids.
Yeah, the Ronald McDonald House is an excellent partner, and getting to sit next to these kids while you're driving in a Lamborghini or something along the lines of that, and seeing the expression on their face is unbeatable.
Yeah, that's got to be really something. Do you have any I don't know, charity groups, community groups? You probably had service projects in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in high school, which I think you're referring to is our Kids Fed group, I partnered with Childhood Food Solutions at combating childhood food insecurity here in Cincinnati. At the time, Cincinnati ranked 2nd highest in the country for food insecure children. And having that right in my backyard and growing up in a community, Indian Hill, that has so much, it just didn't really feel right. So my mom and I got together and we started a branch off of Childhood Food Solutions at our high school, Indian Hill High School, and we started Kids Fed. We'd get together once a month and we'd pack snack sacks, and then we'd drop them off to schools around Cincinnati. And then for the big holidays, we would pack more of a larger meal kit because a lot of the times these kids, the only time they knew they were going to get food was at school. So Cincinnati Public Schools offer breakfast. I'm not sure if they still do, but at the time they offered breakfast and lunch. And a lot of the times that was the only meal that these children were getting.
Sure.
So having that crutch to go eat some ramen noodles when they get home from school to hold them over till they get back the next day, or having that larger pack of food for the holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas when they're not going to be in school for a week. They're just not really sure when their next meal is coming. So anything we can do to aid is...
That's a nice bit. Do you do anything? Do you do much with the Wyler Foundation?
Yeah, I do as much as I can. I think everybody in my family tries to be involved as possible. I always say the community of Cincinnati has given my family so much over the last 50 years. It makes it easy for us to be involved, to have the energy to want to be involved and to give back to the community.
Yeah, so you've always been interested in selling cars. You are a big race car enthusiast. Did you go to Indy this year?
I did not make it to Indy. This was actually the first year in the past 4 or 5 years that I did not make it.
Okay, well, that's a shame.
So I'll be back next year, though, hopefully.
So what is it about? I mean, what is it about selling cars for you? I mean, obviously this is the family business, so you're just familiar with it, if nothing else. But I mean, what is the idea of, you are working with somebody who is it still considered making the second most significant purchase of your life with a car?
100%. Last month, the average car that was sold was $50,000 with the average car payment of $800 a month. I mean,
that's
these
real
things
money.
are not cheap. Yeah, it's real money, large investments that people are making. One of the things that I think makes it so exciting for me is interacting with these people every day. You never get the same customer twice unless you get the same person buying from you again.
But
every
business,
person,
sure.
yeah, exactly. Every person you deal with is dealing with a unique situation, or is just a unique person.
I mean, you said you remember your first car sale.
Yes, 100%. It took me a long time. They test drove, I think, every single car on the lot, but at the end of the day, after maybe 4 or 5 hours of just going on test drives, they finally bought.
Were you sweating bullets that whole time?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's always tough to get your first sale, but once you get your first one, they become a little easier after that.
I don't suppose you still keep in touch with them, do you?
No, unfortunately, I do not. But I still remember the car. It was a black Kia Sorento.
Kia Sorento. That's really great. Graham, it seems like everything's going along really well. You're enjoying your time with the company. You are among 10 grandchildren. What is there any sort of plan for the way things go, or you're just trying to soak it all up right now?
Not a plan for the future, just kind of soaking it all up, learning as much as I can. I have an older cousin that's in the business. He's currently a general manager at one of our Nissan stores. I have a younger brother who just quit his job down in Tampa. He was working for another automotive group, Sonic Automotive. It's a publicly traded car dealership. He was working for one of their Toyota stores in Tampa. Yeah. He just quit his job and moved back up here, and he will soon be working in the business.
Do you and the grandkids get together and just sort of talk about how crazy all this is?
All the time, yeah. Growing up, my brothers and I would kind of sit around and plot how we're going to take over the world, which is it's a cool thing to experience, something that I'm sure is pretty unique.
Do you talk to your grandpa about, obviously the story of when things started in the 70s and the way things have expanded and evolved? Does it just blow him away between that and seeing all the technology that's in a car now? I mean, it's got to be night and day from when he first started.
Yeah, the car business is very different from when he started. He actually could not have picked a worse time to start a car dealership.
70s.
It was the 70s, right when they passed a gas embargo. So gas was more expensive than it ever was. There was mile-long lines outside of the gas station. And when gas prices are high, people aren't really buying cars. But
have you talked to him about that time?
Oh, 100%. When we started off this conversation, I mentioned that it took him 5 days to sell his first car, and he's told me stories. At the end of day number 4, he really started questioning. He's like, "Oh man, did I really make the right decision?" Because he invested his entire net worth into this car dealership. So it was all or nothing for them.
So what does that mean for you? Do you hear stories like that, and does that make you, I don't mean to say that it would give you pause necessarily, but I mean, that's something to consider, that having that sort of level of stress and concern on a worldwide commodity that you have no control over, having a major effect on whether or not you can pay your bills.
Well, I think it's not something that stresses me out. I think it's something that encourages me, because if he could do it, I could find a way to do it.
Okay.
That kind of mentality, to where, you know, he was able to be successful, and I see the ways on how he was able to do it, and it's through passion and grit, really. And I plan on doing the same thing.
How much are you talking with your dad about the way things are going?
All the time. I think between everyone in the family, really, my dad, my brothers, my uncle, my grandfather, everybody bounces ideas off each other. What could we be doing better? How could we make our next move? I mean, even in my life, as I kind of mentioned, I have been moving around different positions, trying to learn as much about the business. There's no, my dad's not sitting there telling me where I should go, what I should do. It's much more of an open dialogue.
Yeah.
Hey, what ideas do you have? What ideas does he have? Even though I'm sure that I'm kind of following along his master plan anyways, right?
The illusion of control, if nothing else, right?
Exactly. But I have the freedom to kind of pick and choose where I want to go, what positions I want to sit in, what parts of the business I want to learn.
Well, listen, that's got to be, I would imagine that's got to be very exciting, maybe a little bit daunting at some times, but I mean, this is clearly what you've been interested in from jump. Some very interesting times to come. There's a picture of the top places to work. That's got to be a little bit encouraging, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we couldn't do it without those guys. That's the majority of our marketing team and some of our titling team in the picture there, but our players, our employees are the people that make our business what it is.
That's really great. Listen, the Wyler Automotive Family Group, a major business here in the city of Cincinnati. Graham Wyler's been in it his whole life. Fun to see the way things evolve in a given business, especially when it comes to cars. Graham, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.